There is some food that will always have a special place in your heart. I grew up in southern Italy, land of pasta, good wine, meat in tomato sauce and extra virgin olive oil. This is what my childhood was made of. The pasta making process is about to begin. We're gonna use some semolina flour. This is a type of dry flour which is most suitable for making your own pasta. 1 egg from the chickens that are outside, and we start working the flour. As you can see, the process does require a little bit of energy, not only with your hands but also with a rolling pin to create this kind of flat shaped piece of dough. It's indeed a pretty satisfying process to watch. And you keep adding flour to it so that it doesn't become too sticky. The specific pasta we're gonna make is called guitar pasta, and you need a special instrument which is actually coming up right now into this kitchen. And there's 2 sides of this kind of special instrument which I don't know the name of. It almost looks like a harp. One side makes larger and kind of wider spaghetti, and the other side makes like thinner spaghetti. Yeah, we're going to use the larger and the wider side of the instrument from this kind of flat shaped dough that we have prepared, and using the rolling pin we are gonna create this kind of guitar spaghetti. It's very important to keep separating them, otherwise they'll kind of stick together, and so you prevent them sticking together by also adding lots of this semolina flour. And yeah, we've got our spaghetti now, guitar spaghetti. So the pasta is going right now into the boiling water, and I'm just using this time to kind of snack a little bit of cheese and salami. This is grana cheese. Beautiful salty and grainy texture. Homemade sausage. Smoky, spicy. Lots of fat interspersed with the spicy meat. So Nonna has just arrived with some fresh chilies. So the pasta is finally ready. It gets stirred into a big bowl with the rest of the sauce, infused with all the flavors from the sheep. And we are ready to serve into the dishes. Seems like this series in Calabria has been very appreciated, so I can recommend a book. It's a book that talks about Calabria, its tradition, the festivals, the slow living and the beauty of this land, but also the struggles. And it's slim, so it's not gonna take a lot of time. It's not a paid promotion. It's actually been written by my brother. I'll put the link down below. If you've got roots in Calabria, it might be a nice read for you. Homemade pasta is best enjoyed with some fresh chilies and large quantities of finely grated cheese. After which you give it a good mix until the tomato sauce acquires this thicker consistency and lighter color. I'm really a fan of this chunky spaghetti. They've got a chewy texture and they hold the sauce very well. Some stuffed zucchini have arrived at the table. They look beautiful. So you take the skin of the zucchini and you just fill it with a paste made of meat, of cheese. It's pretty much like a meatball sitting into the peel, the skin of the zucchini. It's a good practice to kind of dip into the tomato sauce and kind of scooping it out. The pasta was great, but probably the most anticipated dish is the second course, made of sheep meat in tomato sauce. It seems like Mama wants to feed Nonna, but she's rebelling. Obviously, I'm not gonna fight Mama. I'm gonna allow her to just go ahead with my meat. This is sheep meat, and it's extremely flavorful. It's got distinct type of aroma. The meat has boiled in the tomato sauce for quite a long time, which makes it irresistibly tender and really effortless to cut. So tender it just slides away. The next dish I will present to you is my favorite risotto. One of the very few rice dishes I used to eat as a child. It's made with mushrooms, but the real game changer is the homemade chicken stock that is used to flavor it. The first step is to make some olive oil, sizzle with fresh scallions or spring onion. Obviously this is a mushroom risotto, and we have chopped some porcini mushrooms into the soffritto. There's a little bit of oil, a little bit of parsley, the smell, and everything is sizzling in there, and kind of the porcini mushroom is releasing the aroma of the mushroom. We add some more fresh parsley.
Vino bianco.
Some white wine.
It's now time to add the rice, which my mom is very keen on remarking that this is local high quality rice.
Non riso cinese. Rincello iane.
And we'll make the rice cook with the flavorful chicken stock.
Just to give the flavor of the chicken, and that's one of the most beautiful thing when you've got the combination of the porcini mushroom flavor and the savory chicken broth. And that's a chicken broth that's been flavored with celery, onions, potatoes and carrots. Everything starts boiling together. Obviously the risotto is something that requires constant stirring, and that's how you create that kind of creaminess out of the risotto. Actually this time around I think my mom has been a little bit generous with the chicken parts, because I can see some wings and stuff. It's gonna be more of a nice second course of chicken, I think. Another important step is to add the Parmigiano cheese. Another layer of savoriness, of creaminess. That is my portion of risotto. Chunky piece of mushrooms, celery, and I'm obviously gonna add a little bit of fresh chili powder. Let's give it a try now. It's piping hot. Perfect amount of creaminess. You got the flavor of the porcini mushroom, which is predominant, and then also the chicken stock flavor. And there are also pieces of chicken inside. What I love about this risotto is that the single grains of the rice is, they retain their shape and they've got texture in it. Some homemade fresh wine. After the risotto, it's time to battle for your piece of chicken. So you've got the pot in the center of the table. Mama chooses who's getting what, and I always like having a chicken feet, and we'll also get a chicken wing. So yesterday, when I was in the kitchen last night, I made a strange discovery. In the sink there was like a plastic bag, and there was something in it, something that was frozen. So I took the bag out, we had a look at it, and there was an animal in there. It was a rabbit.
Some people can't get around the cuteness factor of the rabbit, which I totally understand, but from my point of view it's just one of the most delicious meats on earth. My favorite way of preparing it is with aromatic herbs such as rosemary and bay leaves, and simmering in a white wine reduction sauce.
The parts of the rabbits are chunky, and there's also kind of some parts of liver and offal. The rosemary smell is really predominant in there. It gives it like an incredibly nice aromatic touch. We're gonna add these beautiful olives as well, just to give it some even more extra tanginess and acidity. And some olives can even be eaten as a kind of a snack before the main course. They're very garlicky and spicy. There is some chopped chili and oregano. There we go, that's my favorite stage of the cooking process, which is the serving process. I've got a few pieces each. Yeah, small pieces, but they're very meaty. You need to pay attention at the bones. Rabbit bones are spiky and some of the most dangerous. Got some olives and carrots and all this bit of beautiful kind of orange sauce. There's some bay leaves, and some people have combined a little bit of pasta as well, because it's always time to have some pasta regardless of what your eating plan are on the day. I don't think there is much place for cutleries in this kind of style of eating, so you just grab it with your hands and eat it like that.
Commercially raised rabbits taste similar to chicken, but this one is a wild rabbit, and it's definitely more gamey, which I love.
Is there skin in this rabbit? Maybe this is a piece of the skin, but yeah, it's not as fatty as the chicken skin. We got a bit of the rabbit liver. Beautiful, irony, kind of creamy texture.
Cannelloni is another all-time favorite of mine. It's usually made from sheets of fresh pasta that are rolled around a filling. In this case, instead of pasta, we are actually using crepes, which you can fill with whatever you fancy. Here we use ricotta cheese, spinach, grated cheese. It was once a poor people dish where the filling used to be any leftover from the day before. But yeah, nowadays is a meal for special occasions.
The next stage, I'm going to show you the next stage. The next stage actually is going to be about using the ragu, tomato sauce, and
and minced meat to essentially cover them. And then what happens is that you build kind of layer of cannelloni on top of this beautiful minced meat sauce ragu. And the ragu is made of kind of minced beef meat. Then we top the cannelloni with a generous spread of bechamel sauce, which is a silky and creamy sauce made of milk and butter. And then again another layer of ragu sauce. And then again the last step is that of topping with grana cheese. 200 degrees into the oven. The cannelloni are now ready. Half an hour of cooking into the oven, and you can see this kind of crust on the top, like tomato crust. They're absolutely packed with that beautiful creamy kind of ricotta cheese stuffing. Okay, it's time to try this cannelloni. I'm gonna select a chunk of this. Obviously you can see it's not going to be difficult to separate a piece because the cannelloni pasta is really soft. Again, this is not pasta, this is crepe. It's actually a crepe. You can see the filling, the spinach and ricotta and grana cheese kind of filling. Super creamy because of the bechamel and the ricotta cheese. Tomato sauce is pretty tangy. We like the tomato sauce not sweet but rather kind of tangy. And yeah, the piece of minced meat, they give that kind of beefy flavor to the tomato sauce. To be honest, I tend to prefer the pasta rather than the crepe because the pasta kind of retain a little bit of texture and shape, while the crepe is it's a bit too soft. The pasta you can make it, you can cook it and have an al dente kind of texture, which I can tend to prefer. You may think I only eat pasta and meat, but actually one of my favorite childhood dishes is real organic beans with a touch of very extra virgin olive oil and cooked in a wood-fired stove the ancient way. Obviously the wood stove is an essential element in this kind of households, not only because it provides warmth, but also because that's where we cook. We boil water, and so the task of ensuring that there is always wood into the stove is shared among the households. But usually the reminders come from the nonna. What I like to do is to grab a little bit of this ground chili powder just to make them nice and spicy. Fresh white bread, homemade, and scoop a little bit of this beautiful red beans, nice and soaked into the olive oil. This chili is powerful. This mixture of all fresh olive oil and the thick juice released by the beans. These are ancient flavors. My friend, this is the end of this South Italy food series for now. Give it a like if you wish, and let's jump into the next food adventure.